afternoon. My name is Ryan Williams French, and the title of this message is Every Good and Perfect Gift. For this message, I'm going to be examining the power of your voice. To those of you who have been following my channel, to those of you who have been supporting me, to those of you who have been praying for me, your prayers are deeply felt, your encouragement is deeply appreciated, and I just send love back to you, and I want you to know that I'm praying for you all as well. That said, I do want to offer a little bit of an update on what I've been doing. If you have been following my channel, you may have noticed that there was a lapse in some posts, and that was intentional. I actually last week, starting on Monday, was embarking on a fast, a daily prayer and fast. And I think it's really important, especially men of God, to sometimes take a break from social media, take a break from things that are removing you from the voice of God. At least I can speak for myself. I try at least 2 to 3 times a year to go on a fast. And so on Monday I began a fast, and it's something that I do from the morning until the evening. I just fast, I pray, I try to read the Bible. And I did this because I wanted to, again, get back in touch with the Holy Spirit. And I wanted to get back in touch with the very reason why I started my ministry in the first place. And so something that was revealed to me in my time of praying and fasting was that I was no longer speaking to those who I began this ministry for in the first place. And I want to go a little bit deeper. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your gender is, what your background is. But there is power in owning your story, because you see, your story is your testimony. Your story is the well from which you draw the water that is needed to feed the story that can empower others. So unless you are speaking from your personal truth, no matter how ugly, how embarrassing, how shameful it is, you're not going to be able to receive any kind of fire that can actually inspire somebody else to live a better life. Because it isn't possible, I don't care how great of an actor you are, to draw from a well that is not yours. This message is for anybody who is afraid to use your voice. Yes, you're afraid to use your voice because somewhere, somehow, somebody, or maybe even yourself, told you that you are not good enough to use your voice because your voice is not good. Your voice is ugly. Your voice is weak. Your voice is unpleasant. And so because of this, you have fallen into the trap of believing this deception. There is a reason why I titled my ministry, My Strength, My Song. And I'm going to give a little bit of a personal testimony. But for me, my biggest hindrance in life was my relationship with my voice. For this message, I want to share a verse from the Bible. It is from James 1, verse 17. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like the shifting shadows. I'm going to say that again. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, thank you, Jesus, who does not change like the shifting of shadows. I want to clarify something about this verse. If you have a gift, if you have a talent, there's a reason why. God doesn't make mistakes. Just like the color purple, there's a reason why he's made purple flowers. He likes the color purple. There's a reason why he gave you the voice that you have. He likes that when you use your voice, it brings him glory. So if you can sing, keep singing. As I was praying and fasting, I had to go back to the beginning. And I remember from a very young age, probably from the age of 5, there's nothing I love more than singing. That's what I love to do. I love singing. From a young age, from the age of 5 all the way to the age of 12, I would listen to full recording albums, the original cast albums from Broadway productions, West Side Story, The Wiz, Pearly, 42nd Street, the list goes on. And so from a young age, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to sing. And I didn't care how big the part was. I didn't care about being the main role. I didn't care about any of that. Even if I was one of the people in the background in a cast of 60 people, just to have the ability to be on stage, to be in an environment where I am actually telling a story and singing a story for people who are in the audience. To me, that is something that I wanted to do. That was my dream. Not only that, whenever I would meet with my grandfather and he would tell me stories, he would tell me about how popular the form, or the genre rather, of the musical was in the 30s and 40s. You see, the 30s and 40s, we have to remember this is during World War II. And so all around the world, there is a feeling of anxiety, of uncertainty because of what is happening. And so in spite of what was happening in the world, people were seeing the beginnings of careers. People like Fred Astaire, Sammy Davis Jr., people who were tap dancing and singing. And through listening to my grandfather's stories, I gained a fascination in musicals and old films. I would watch TMC and I would watch musicals night and day. And from a very young age, I told myself I was going to do theater. I was going to sing. That's what brought me joy. And I didn't care how big the role was. I didn't care if I got in movies. If I did get into movies, that would be great. If I did have a big part, that would be awesome. I didn't care. As long as I could just be in the midst of other people who were telling stories with their voices. Anyways, we're gonna fast forward to when I'm 13 years old and I'm in high school. I was in high school, I was in 9th grade, and I entered myself into a singing competition. And because I am such a huge fan of music, I picked the most random song for a 13-year-old in the early 2000s. I told the choir director that I wanted to sing Ain't No Stopping Us Now by McFadden and Whitehead. And when I told the choir director this, they were a little bit surprised that I wanted to sing something that was this dated, because my peers, on the other hand, they were singing songs from Chris Brown, Rihanna, Sierra, and here I was wanting to sing this song from the 70s. But I didn't care. I wanted to do this because it made me happy. I was at this age and this point in my life where I really didn't care about other people, and I just wanted to be joyful. Because at the end of the day, what one man can do, so can you, right? If other people can be joyful and nourish their gifts and express themselves freely, then why can't you? So leading up to the competition, I remember 2 weeks before, every night I would stay up till 2, 3 in the morning in the bathroom rehearsing the song. I had my headphones on and I was rehearsing the song, and it got so bad to the point where sometimes my aunt or my mother would knock on the door because they had to use the restroom. But I didn't care. I was that excited. I was this invested. In fact, as far as I can remember, it was the most invested I've ever been in something because it's what I wanted to do. There's nothing like chasing after something, pursuing something that you want to do. Because when you want to do it, there's a particular kind of fire and investment that comes from within yourself that God has granted you, because that's what He called you to do. Because remember, every good and perfect gift is from up above. And so the day of the competition arrives. And the competition was being held outside on a stage during lunch period. I went to a very large school. About 3,000 students attended the school, and there were only 2 different lunch periods. So you have to imagine there's at least 1,500 people in the audience. And these are people from 9th to 12th grade that are in the audience watching, walking around, talking. And many of the performances, when people would perform, when they would do their dances, their comedic routines, you would hear silence because people were actually invested in what was going on. But when it was my turn to go on the stage, I remember the music started. I had the microphone in my hand. I began doing the choreography that I was rehearsing in the bathroom over weeks. And as soon as I began singing the first verse, there was this huge tidal wave of laughter, this huge eruption of noise. And I could hear over and over again people in the audience saying, faggot this, faggot that, faggot, faggot, faggot this. And I was so embarrassed. It was a traumatic experience. I'm over it now, but I'm sharing this because this is something that I went through. This is part of my testimony. And so when the song was over, I got off stage. My friend, she congratulated me. She gave me flowers. She said I did a great job, even though I knew she was just trying to make me feel good. And I told her, you don't have to lie to me. I know it was a mess. I forgot my lyrics. I just want to get off stage. But what I did not tell her, and what I did not tell anybody else, is that from that moment on, I had made an intentional decision to never use my own voice again because I hated my voice. Because of what had happened in that moment, I despised one of the gifts that God gave me, and I no longer use my voice. And this was something that actually followed me all throughout young adulthood. Even as I went on to go to an acting conservatory to receive my master's, a lot of my instructors, vocal coaches, they would always pester me and they would prod me and they would ask me, Ryan, why are you not using your voice? And I never told them the reason why, because there was so much shame attached to this experience that I had when I was 13 years old. I was not honest with people. I did not want people to see this scar. And so instead, I used a fake voice. My peers would comment about this. Even as I became an independent adult, people would comment about this. Ryan, what's that voice? That's not your voice. What's wrong with your voice? What are you hiding? And it's because I was so afraid. I was so ashamed of this experience, and I was afraid that if I were to use my voice again, I was afraid that if I were to nourish the very thing that brought me joy, the very thing that caused me to be happy, I was afraid if I shared that with the world, I would be judged again. And so instead of sharing one of the gifts that God gave me from a very young age, I hid it. Again, this message is for somebody who is afraid to use your voice because you've been told that what you have to say, or rather what you have to sing, is not important. Repeat after me. Every good and perfect gift is from above. Every good and perfect gift is from above, and that is the truth. If you like to sing, baby, you better sing like there's no tomorrow. If you like to speak poetry, you better use your voice. If you like to write, you better write like there's no tomorrow. If you like to dance, you better dance like there's no tomorrow. There's a reason why God gave you that gift, and if that gift brings you happiness, if that gift makes your spirit smile, I want you to know it also makes God happy. And it does not matter what other people think. You better use your voice like there's no tomorrow. When I was 29 years old, God placed in my heart to begin a ministry that would empower other young men or even younger boys who are going through the same experience or even worse experiences than myself. If you look at literature about the voice, if you study the voice, you can find that trauma can be manifested in the way that we use our voice. Vocal coaches who have spent many years studying the voice and working with thousands of people, be it opera singers, leaders, presidents, politicians, people who are CEOs, executives, they've found a common trend of people having trauma impact the way that they use their voice. When certain men over enunciate certain things, or when people over project, it's a way of them dealing with a sense of inferiority. When certain women speak and they don't use their full voice, or they're constantly speaking with a gravelly tone, it shows that they're uncertain about what they want to say, and so they're walking on eggshells with their voice. When certain people, like myself, no longer sing even though it brings me joy and happiness, it indicates that I am ashamed and I feel guilty for using something that God gave me because I don't want to make other people feel a particular way. Well, let me tell you something. The devil's a lie, and the truth is going to set you free. Every good and perfect gift is from above. And what one man can do, so can you. As long as it's good, as long as it's lovely, as long as it's noble, cherish it, do it. Remember, as Christians, we are the salt, we are the light of the world. And any gift that God gave you, it brings glory to Him when you share it. You can turn on the radio today, and you'll hear so much music about sex, drugs, trash, all this stuff. If you are singing about love, if you're singing about companionship, if you're singing about lovely, noble things, do it. And do it like there's no tomorrow. Be the light. Be the light. Don't think about it. Don't repress it, but be the light. Again, this message is for somebody who is afraid to use your voice because you've been told that what you have to say, or rather what you have to sing, is not important. Repeat after me. Every good and perfect gift is from above. Every good and perfect gift is from above. And that is the truth. If you like to sing, baby, you better sing like there's no tomorrow. If you like to speak poetry, you better use your voice. If you like to write, you better write like there's no tomorrow. If you like to dance, you better dance like there's no tomorrow. There's a reason why God gave you that gift. And if that gift brings you happiness, if that gift makes your spirit smile, I want you to know it also makes God happy. And it does not matter what other people think. You better use your voice like there's no tomorrow. As soon as you stop using your voice, you may as well be dead. It is our voice that brings God all the glory. You see, our voice is attached to the breath. And the Greek word for spirit is pneuma, which means breath or breath of life. So every time you sing, every time you speak, you are letting the world know. You're letting every demon and every devil in hell know that you are here and you have a God that is worthy to be praised, and you thank him. But as soon as you shut your voice, as soon as you lessen yourself, as soon as you stop sharing your gifts, oh, the devil, he's happy. The devil, he's happy about that. In my next message, I'm going to talk about Elijah and Jezebel. Because as much as there are data and statistics about all the various reasons why you have so many men taking their own lives, why you have so many men feeling like they don't have a purpose, there's always a spiritual reason behind it as well. And something that has been revealed to me over the past year is that it's not only our various histories, but it's also spiritual. You see, there's a spirit called Jezebel. It's a spirit that hates nothing more than a man with a cause and a man with a voice. And so there's this wonderful story about this prophet named Elijah who had the power to call down fire. And yet, because of this witch named Jezebel, because of her little threat, he forgot what his purpose was. He forgot all of the things that God gave him, instilled within him, and he became silent. Not only that, he ran to a cave. He stopped speaking, and he wanted to take his own life. I'm going to be posting this message about Jezebel and Elijah on Tuesday. But it's really important because, especially with people my age and younger, we're not really told about these spiritual things. And so we fall into the trap of thinking that it's only data and statistics that causes us to behave and react in the way that we do. But anytime you feel like you're no longer strong, anytime you feel like you no longer have the capacity to do the things that God gave you to do, I want you to know there is a spirit behind it. And what we do as Christians to counter this spirit is we speak against it, we sing against it. Sometimes you're not going to feel like it. A lot of times when I stand up and I do these videos, I don't necessarily feel like it. I'm going to be honest. I am an introvert. I am an introvert. There's nothing that I really enjoy more than kind of being in the background. But since God has placed within my heart to inspire other people who are struggling with their voice and struggling with expressing themselves, I'm going to stand on the word and I'm going to be strong and courageous. And so as I say this now, I don't care who you are. I don't care what your circumstances are. I don't care how you feel. But I want you to know every good and perfect gift is from above. And if you have a gift, if there's certain things that you like to express, do it. Because what one man can do, so can you. Thanks so much for tuning into this message. I love you all, and I hope that you have a blessed remainder of your day.